Paul Ryan was correct. When he did the tax code, what's the first thing he decided we had to go after? Social Security and Medicare. Now, we need to do something about Social Security and Medicare. That's the only way you can find room to pay for it.
Entitlements ever be on your plate?
At some point they will be. We have tremendous growth. We're going to have tremendous growth this next year. It'll be toward the end of the year because it's such a big percentage.
You're willing to do some of the things that you said you wouldn't do in the past, though, in terms of Medicare?
Well, we're going to look.
Entitlements is code for Social Security and Medicare. So there's Biden agreeing with Paul Ryan and Donald Trump, going back on his campaign promise there not to cut Social Security and Medicare. Here Trump is back in 2015 saying he would never do such a thing.
Save Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security without cuts. Have to do it. Get rid of the fraud, get rid of the waste and abuse, but save it. People have been paying in for years, and now many of these candidates want to cut it.
Many of these candidates, well, that does include Joe Biden. Trump was talking about Republicans there, but now it includes Trump as someone in power. He's flirted with doing so time and time again, but the policies are so popular that despite there being an overwhelming consensus, I know you can hear I'm nasally, I'm still pretty sick. The overwhelming consensus from everyone in the corporate elite that they need to cut Social Security and Medicare instead of taking a penny from military spending or oil subsidies. You know, they do end up always shying away from it because it's so politically toxic. But this time, Trump could actually go through with it. The president has already proposed cuts for some safety net programs. His last budget proposal called for a total of $1.9 trillion in cost savings from mandatory safety net programs like Medicaid and Medicare. It also called for spending $26 billion less on Social Security programs, the federal retirement program, including a $10 billion cut to the Social Security Disability Insurance Program, which provides benefits to disabled workers. Meaning, despite pounding the gavel on the campaign trail and being in favor of Social Security and Medicare in keeping it intact, using that as while campaigning against socialism, when both of those programs are socialism, he's turning around, he might cut them anyway. So he's come close to doing so, just like Obama, by the way, came close during his time as president with Joe Biden as his vice president, which brings me back to Joe Biden. Biden is like Trump in this regard. He similarly flirted with the idea for like 35 years. Yeah, and he's trying to deny it. This is from Brian Grimm's article. As early as 1984 and as recently as 2018, former Vice President Joe Biden called for cuts to Social Security in the name of saving the program and balancing the federal budget. Biden's historical position also stands in stark contrast to Senators Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, both of whom support increasing benefits and have offered ways to make the program solvent indefinitely. I mean, this is like pulling a Bloomberg saying, you know, I'm actually against stop and frisk now when he just came out against it. Biden, as early as 2018, was calling for cuts. Under Reagan, Biden worked with Chuck Grassley, of all people, to freeze and cut Social Security, backed by big money trade groups. In the 90s, he did it again. Concerns about the deficit, and on it goes. And Biden's trying to rewrite history. And you know he's defensive about it. Because those programs are so popular, here's how he reacted when a reporter asked how Bernie Sanders was pointing out that he did advocate for making those cuts.
Well, yesterday you said you accepted Bernie's apology and now you're attacking him. Why are you doing that? Why wasn't his apology enough, Mr. Vice President?
Right this way,
Why attack Sanders?
Why? You're getting nervous, man. Calm down. It's okay. He apologized for saying that I was corrupt. He didn't say anything about whether or not I was telling the truth about Social Security.
No, you weren't telling the truth, and whew, that was spooky. He's terrified, and it's because he knows that Bernie finally went there. Social Security, again, is one of the most popular programs in this country for a reason, and Bernie has the guts to stand up to the deficit orthodoxy that Trump certainly does not, even though he ran on being that kind of Republican who didn't care about those deficit hawk Paul Ryan types. And Joe Biden, he wants to compromise so badly with those guys that he's been advocating for it for years. and don't let him tell you otherwise. So the trend here is that Biden and Trump are a part of the same Washington, that the swamp that everyone in America hates, and they're terrified about you finding out about it.